The galaxy had seen many wars. Planets burned. Stars went dark. But Earth was different. A massive alien fleet moved through space like a shadow. Thousands of ships. Each one built for war. They had crushed everything in their path. Civilizations older than Earth had fallen in days. The alien commanders were confident. Too confident. Earth appeared small on their screens. Blue. Quiet. Alone. No defense fleet waited for them. No weapons fired. No fear was shown. Then a single message arrived. Not loud. Not long. Just calm. Turn back. This is your final warning. The alien bridge filled with laughter. Warnings were common. Weak worlds always begged. Earth would be no different. They ignored it. Minutes later, Earth sent nothing more. No threats. No begging. No follow-up. Just silence. The fleet moved closer. Faster. That was the moment some officers felt it. A strange feeling. Like space itself was watching them. Like they had crossed a line they did not see. Earth did not prepare for battle. Earth prepared for judgment. And the galaxy was about to learn what happened when humanity warned you only once. The alien fleet slowed as it reached the outer edge of Earth's system. Thousands of ships spread out in perfect formation. Battleships. Carriers. Dread platforms large enough to hold cities. Their weapons were charged. Their shields were strong. They had never lost a major war. At the center ship, the alien admiral watched Earth rotate calmly on the main screen. "So this is the human homeworld," he said. "Yes, Admiral," an officer replied. "Population high. Technology moderate. No sign of advanced fleet movement." The admiral's eyes narrowed. They destroyed the Krell Empire once. How? Records show unusual tactics. Defensive only. The admiral laughed. Luck. Nothing more. A signal officer interrupted. Incoming transmission from Earth. Put it through. The bridge went silent. A human voice appeared. Come. Clear. No anger. This is Earth Command. You have entered restricted space. Turn back. This is your final warning. No threats. No shouting. No show of force. The alien commanders stared for a moment. Then laughter filled the bridge. "Is that all?" one captain said. "They didn't even show weapons," another added. The admiral raised a clawed hand. Silence returned. "So this is humanity's defense," he said coldly. "Words." He leaned forward. "Reply." The signal officer hesitated. "What message, Admiral?" The admiral smiled. "None." The fleet moved forward. On Earth, deep under the surface, human commanders watched silently. No panic. No raised voices. Only quiet movement and steady eyes. "Fleet has crossed the warning line," an officer reported. A woman at the center table nodded. "Record the time." "No counter-message?" someone asked. She shook her head. They were warned. Back in space, alien sensors scanned the system. "No human ships detected," an officer reported. "No mines. No traps," another said. The admiral felt pleased. They are hiding. Afraid. The fleet passed Mars. Nothing happened. They passed the asteroid belt. Still nothing. But then, a scout ship vanished. "No explosion detected," a sensor officer said slowly. "It simply disappeared." The admiral frowned. "Malfunction." "Unlikely," the officer replied. "All systems were normal." "Launch another scout." The second ship moved ahead. Then it vanished too. The bridge grew quiet. "Scan the area," the admiral ordered. Scanners showed empty space. No energy spikes. No debris. "This is impossible," a captain whispered. The admiral stood. Weapons to full readiness. The fleet powered up. Space around them vibrated with energy. Still, Earth remained silent. Suddenly, an old beacon activated near the fleet. Ancient. Human-made. A message repeated again and again. "You were warned." Some officers shifted nervously. "Admiral," one said carefully, We should reconsider. The Admiral slammed his claw on the console. Enough. Humans hide behind tricks. Advance. The fleet crossed the invisible boundary. That was when space changed. Movement felt heavy. Signals delayed. Shields flickered. A massive battleship at the front shut down instantly. No response from the crew, an officer reported. Life signs still present, but frozen. The Admiral's confidence cracked. What is happening? He demanded. On Earth, the human commander spoke softly. Phase 1 complete. Above the planet, something unseen awakened. The warning had ended, and the lesson was about to begin. The alien bridge was no longer loud. Screens flickered with delayed data. Officers spoke softly now, careful with every word. The frozen battleship drifted ahead of the fleet, silent and powerless. No damage detected, a technician said. Hull intact. Power systems locked. Can we restore it? The Admiral asked. The technician shook his head. No external cause found. It is like the ship was told to stop, and it obeyed. The Admiral stared at the drifting giant. That ship alone could destroy a small planet. Now it was useless. Send a boarding team, he ordered. I want answers. A small craft detached and moved toward the frozen battleship. The team docked smoothly. Cameras activated inside the ship. The bridge crew appeared on screen. They were alive. Eyes open. Hands on controls. Not moving. They are frozen in place, an officer whispered. No signs of fear, another said. No struggle. The Admiral's voice was tight. Retrieve them. The boarding team tried to pull one crew member away. The moment they touched him, alarms screamed. The boarding craft lost power. Then it vanished. Gone. No flash. No sound. The frozen battleship followed seconds later. Both ships disappeared as if space swallowed them. Fear crept into the bridge. This is not a weapon we understand, a captain said. The Admiral stayed silent. Sensors began to fail across the fleet. Long-range scans returned nothing. Short-range scans showed too much. Space looked thick, heavy, wrong. Admiral, a navigation officer said, movement feels delayed. Even light signals are slowing. Explain, the Admiral snapped. I can't, the officer replied. Physics is bending. Far below, Earth remained calm. No ships launched. No weapons fired. No shields raised. Human leaders watched quietly as numbers rolled across their screens. Enemy fleet fully inside boundary, an officer said. Civilian zone secured, another added. The commander nodded once. Proceed. Back in space, the alien fleet attempted to pull back. Reverse course, the Admiral ordered. Prepare jump. The engines charged. Nothing happened. Jump drive not responding, a technician said. Try again. No response. One by one, reports came in. Engine delay. Control lag. Weapon systems offline. The fleet that once moved like a blade now moved like a wounded animal. Then the human broadcast returned. The same calm voice. You ignored the warning. The bridge froze. This region of space is under human protection, the voice continued. You crossed a line set long before you arrived. The Admiral stepped forward. What have you done? He demanded. There was a pause. We changed the rules, the human voice said. A small human ship appeared on scanners. Then another. Then 5 more. They were small. Quiet. No visible weapons. The alien captain stared. That's it, one muttered. Those can't fight us. Fire, the Admiral ordered. Energy beams tore through space. They passed straight through the human ships. No impact. No damage. The human ships did not move. Then space around the alien fleet began to fold. Not collapse. Fold. Like invisible hands pressing inward. One cruiser twisted slowly. Its hull bent. Not broken by force but by pressure. Crews screamed as gravity shifted. Then the ship vanished. Another ship followed. And another. No explosions, an officer said in horror. They are being removed. Panic spread. Shields at maximum. Divert power. Emergency jump. Nothing worked. The Admiral finally understood. Earth was not defending itself. Earth was cleaning its space. The human voice returned one last time. "This is Phase 2, it said. "You are no longer guests." The alien Admiral lowered himself into his command seat. For the first time in his long life, he felt small. The silence around Earth was not weakness. It was control. And the trap had already closed. The alien fleet was breaking. Not from fire. Not from impact. From fear. Ships drifted out of formation. Commands overlapped. Officers shouted over each other as space itself pressed in around them. "Report," the Admiral demanded. A tactical officer spoke with shaking breath. "We have lost 12 ships. No wreckage. No energy trail. They are simply gone." The Admiral's claws tightened. "Weapons." "Useless," the officer replied. "Our attacks passed through the human vessels like mist." The small human ships remained still. Silent. Untouched. "They are not ships," a science officer whispered. "They are anchors." The Admiral turned slowly. "Explain." "They are holding space in place," the officer said. "Or bending it. We crossed a boundary where the rules are no longer ours." The Admiral remembered the warning beacon. The simple words. "You were warned." He ignored it. Now the cost was clear. On Earth, deep inside a hardened command center, human officers watched the display in silence. "Fleet cohesion down to 40%, one said. "Enemy command unstable," another added. The commander stood with hands behind her back. Her voice was calm. "Do not accelerate," she said. "Let them understand." Above Earth, the human anchors adjusted their position. Slowly, carefully, the pressure increased. A massive alien carrier tried to force its way forward. "Shields holding," its captain shouted. Then the shields collapsed inward. Not shattered. Folded. The ship twisted like soft metal. Crew screamed as floors became walls and walls became ceilings. Then the carrier vanished. The scream cut off. The remaining alien ships pulled back instinctively, but space resisted them. Every movement felt delayed. Heavy. "Admiral," a navigator said, "the boundary is expanding." "What boundary?" the Admiral snapped. "The one we crossed," the navigator replied. "It is not fixed. It moves with us." Realization hit hard. "There is no escape," the Admiral said quietly. A human transmission broke through the chaos. "Your fleet has reached the enforcement zone," the calm voice said. "This region is protected by law older than your empire." The Admiral stepped forward. "Law?" he growled. "We recognize no human law." "You do not need to recognize it," the voice replied. "Only obey it." A strange structure appeared on sensors. Not a ship. Not a station. A line of light stretched across space. Endless. "What is that?" an officer asked. The science officer's voice trembled. "It is a limit." A line written into space itself. One alien frigate drifted too close. The moment its hull touched the line, the ship stopped. Then slowly it came apart. Piece by piece. Atom by atom. No fire. No sound. Just removal. The fleet froze in terror. "That line," the science officer whispered, "is the reason no one ever conquered Earth." The Admiral lowered his head. "Send surrender signal," he said. The signal officer hesitated. "On what frequency?" "All of them." The message went out. Every channel. Every code. Silence answered. The human commander watched the signal arrive. "Do we respond?" an officer asked. She shook her head. They had their response. The line in space began to move. Slowly. Steadily. Cut across the fleet. Ship after ship vanished as it passed. No mercy. No pause. On the alien bridge, lights flickered. The Admiral looked at Earth one last time. "So this is the line," he said softly. "The one no one was meant to cross." The human voice returned, not to him, but to the galaxy beyond. "Let this be known," it said. Human space is not empty. It is restrained. The line reached the Admiral's ship. Systems shut down. Gravity vanished. As darkness closed in, the Admiral understood the final truth. Earth did not build walls. Earth built limits, and anyone who crossed them was erased. The line in space did not stop. It moved slowly, like a quiet tide. Where it passed, alien ships vanished. No fire. No noise. No escape. The alien fleet was no longer a fleet. It was a broken field of drifting shapes, frozen crews, and empty space. A few ships still functioned. Their crews watched in horror as the line drew closer. "This is not war," a captain whispered. "This is removal." On one damaged cruiser, emergency power flickered on and off. The crew gathered on the bridge, staring at the glowing edge of the line. "Can we destroy it?" someone asked. The weapons officer shook his head. "There is nothing to target. It is not matter. Not energy. It is law." The word felt heavy. Across the system, hidden observers from distant empires watched. Long-range sensors recorded the impossible. No explosions. No heat spikes. No shock waves. Entire warships disappeared as if they were never there. "This weapon breaks every treaty," one observer transmitted. Another replied, "No. This weapon was built to avoid them." On Earth, human command centers remained calm. Data flowed smoothly. No alarms. No raised voices. "The enforcement line is stable," an officer reported. "Civil impact?" the commander asked. "Zero," came the reply. "The field does not touch planets. Only targets." The commander nodded. As designed. Above Earth, the small human ships adjusted their positions. Their movement was precise. Controlled. Almost gentle. They were not firing weapons. They were holding the system in place. Inside one surviving alien vessel, panic reached its peak. "We were wrong," a senior officer said. "Humans do not fight like us." "They do not win battles," another replied. "They end them." The ship attempted a blind jump. Engines screamed. Space twisted. For one moment, hope returned. Then the ship split in half. Not from pressure. From imbalance. One side existed. The other did not. The remaining half drifted, empty. Across the galaxy, messages spread fast. The human voice, recorded and replayed, echoed everywhere. "You crossed a protected boundary." Worlds that once planned attacks on Earth went silent. Fleets changed course. Maps were rewritten. The weapon had no name. Humans never gave it one. They called it a safeguard. Back near Earth, only a handful of alien ships remained. Crippled. Frozen. Trapped between lines they could not see. One ship managed to send a final message. Not a threat. Not a demand. A confession. "We did not understand you." The message reached Earth. The commander listened in silence. "They never do," she said softly. The line stopped moving. The remaining ships were spared. Not out of mercy. Out of purpose. "Why stop now?" an officer asked. "Because the lesson is complete," the commander replied. Above, the human ships powered down their anchors. Space slowly returned to normal. Gravity stabilized. Time flowed clean again. The system looked peaceful. Too peaceful. The spared alien ships floated helplessly. A final human transmission reached them. "Return to your people," the voice said. "Tell them what you saw." The alien crews did not respond. They did not need to. They had seen enough. As the human ships vanished into hidden paths, Earth turned quietly below. No victory speech was given. No flags were raised. Humanity did not celebrate. The weapon that ended fleets did not look like a weapon. It looked like restraint. And the galaxy would remember that forever. The alien ships drifted in silence. Engines dead. Weapons useless. Crews shaken. They floated in human space like broken memories of a war that never truly began. On Earth, the command center remained calm. Screens showed stable readings. The enforcement line had stopped. The anchors held steady. Protocol status? An officer asked. The commander looked at the main display. Final protocol is active. Some officers shifted in their seats. That phrase was not used often. Confirm restrictions, another officer said. The commander nodded. No expansion beyond system limits. No pursuit. No planetary harm. Humanity had rules. Even now, above Earth, the remaining alien ships tried once more to restore power. Auxiliary systems responding, a technician said weakly. Do not attempt escape, their captain ordered. We are alive only because they allow it. The human transmission reached them again. Steady. You have reached the end of escalation, the voice said. Further resistance will not be answered. The alien crews listened in silence. On Earth, a younger officer finally asked the question burning in everyone's mind. Why let them go? The commander turned slowly. Because this is not punishment, she said. It is correction. She gestured to the screen, where a symbol glowed faintly. This protocol was written after our first contact war, she continued. We learned something important. The room listened. If we destroy every enemy, the galaxy learns to fear us, the commander said. Fear leads to arms. Arms lead to endless war. She paused. But if we end only the threat, the galaxy learns restraint. The protocol was simple. One warning. One boundary. One response. No second chances. Above, the anchors adjusted slightly. Space tightened around the remaining alien ships, not crushing them, but holding them in place. A test. One alien captain made a choice. He ordered his crew to power weapons. Instantly, the ship folded. Gone. The others did nothing. They waited. The human voice returned. Not angry, not proud. Compliance acknowledged, it said. Slowly, the pressure eased. Engines restarted. Power returned. The alien ships were free, but not unchanged. Inside their bridges, crews sat quietly. Some wept. Some stared into space. They had seen a weapon that did not rage. A force that did not chase. A civilization that set limits and enforced them without emotion. On Earth, the commander watched the ships turn away. Protocol complete, an officer said. Record everything, the commander replied. History matters. The anchors powered down. One by one, the small human ships vanished. To the galaxy, it looked like Earth had done nothing. But those who were there knew better. Weeks later, across distant stars, alien councils gathered. Survivors spoke of folded space, of invisible lines, of a warning ignored. Maps changed. Routes shifted. New rules were spoken in hushed tones. Never test human borders. Never mistake silence for weakness. Back on Earth, life continued. Cities glowed. Children slept. Oceans moved as they always had. The final protocol returned to standby. Lock. Waiting. Not for war, but for the next one who would take one step too far. The galaxy did not learn slowly. It learned all at once. Long-range sensors from distant systems replayed the same impossible truth. A fleet that once ruled entire regions was gone. Not defeated. Not scattered. Erased. No wreckage fields. No survivors drifting in escape pods. No battle marks. Just empty space where power once existed. In alien councils across the stars, leaders argued in fear. This breaks every known law, one shouted. No, another replied quietly. It reveals one. The survivors of the fleet were brought before their people. They spoke without pride, without shame, only truth. We crossed a line, one captain said, and space itself punished us. Many did not believe them. Then the recordings played. Ships folding inward. Time slowing. Light bending. Silence followed. Near Earth, the last phase continued. The enforcement line, once paused, began to move again. Slowly. Carefully. The remaining hostile ships, those that had fired, those that had resisted, were still trapped. On one such ship, the crew realized what was coming. Power down everything, the captain ordered. Maybe they will spare us. The engines shut down. Weapons went dark. Life support stayed on. The line reached them anyway. This time, there was no warning. The ship disappeared. Not violently. Cleanly. On Earth, the command center received confirmation. Hostile elements neutralized, an officer reported. How many remain? The commander asked. None, came the answer. The room stayed silent. No cheers. No relief sounds. Just acceptance. Above Earth, space returned to normal. The anchors released their hold. The system breathed again. The battle, if it could be called that, was over. The galaxy reacted fast. Trade routes near Earth closed. Military fleets changed direction mid-flight. Old plans were deleted. A new phrase spread across alien networks. Do not force humanity to speak twice. On one distant world, a warlord watched the recordings again and again. His fleets were powerful. His weapons were advanced. Still, he ordered a retreat from human borders. Power meant nothing without permission. Back on Earth, the commander walked alone through a quiet corridor. Screens dimmed as she passed. Systems returned to standby. An officer caught up to her. Was it necessary? He asked softly. She stopped. Yes, she said. Because they chose force after warning. She continued walking. Peace only works, she added, when boundaries are real. In space, debris from vanished ships did not exist. But something else remained. Fear. Respect. Understanding. The galaxy now knew something important. Humanity did not expand through conquest. Humanity did not rule through fear. Humanity defended its place, and erased threats that refused to stop. Far from Earth, a young alien officer asked his mentor a simple question. Why didn't humans finish everyone? The mentor replied, because they wanted witnesses. The lesson was not hidden. It was delivered. Clear. Final. Earth returned to silence once more. Not the silence of weakness. The silence of control. And across the stars, every fleet commander remembered the same truth. One step too far had ended an entire fleet. And no one wanted to be next. The galaxy changed quietly. There was no announcement. No declaration of victory. No grand warning sent across the stars. Yet everyone knew. The space near Earth became empty. Not abandoned, but respected. Trade routes curved away from it. Military paths ended far from its borders. Earth had become a rule. Across distant systems, the survivors spoke. They did not exaggerate. They did not boast. They simply described what they saw. A warning given once. A line drawn without force. A fleet erased without anger. Alien councils listened in silence. Maps were updated. New symbols marked human space. Not as a threat. As a boundary. On one world, a young commander asked an old one, why didn't they conquer us after that? The old commander replied, because conquest was never the point. Back on Earth, life continued as always. Cities glowed at night. Ships launched for trade, not war. Children learned history without knowing how close it had come to disaster. Deep below the surface, the command center returned to standby. The final protocol was locked again. The commander stood before the dark screen. Her work was done. An officer approached her quietly. Will they test us again? He asked. She did not answer at once. Eventually, she said. Someone always does. He nodded. And then we warned them, she replied. Above Earth, the stars burned calmly. The anchors that once held space itself were gone from sight. Hidden. Waiting. They were not weapons in the usual sense. They were reminders. Far across the galaxy, fleets gathered for other wars. Borders shifted between old enemies. But one rule never changed. No fleet entered human space. No probe crossed the line. No empire dared to see if the stories were true. Because those who had tried were gone. The lesson was not written in blood or fire. It was written in absence. In the empty space where arrogance once existed. On a distant station, an alien historian recorded the final words of the report. Humanity does not seek control of the galaxy. Humanity seeks control of itself. And that is why it cannot be controlled by others. The report spread slowly. Permanently. Back on Earth, the commander walked outside for the first time in days. She looked up at the sky. Peace felt fragile, but real. Humanity had not won a war. Humanity had enforced a boundary. And that boundary held. The stars remained quiet. Not because they were afraid, but because they understood. One step too far had ended an entire fleet. And that single truth now protected Earth better than any weapon ever could.